Morning. Welcome to the Monday meeting. I'm just looking around here. Kathy's will be in late, so we're moved down from there. Gina, Health and Human Services, is not in today, but hers is basically the housing plan that we went over the other day. It's looks like item 8. So I don't know if we have any other discussion on that. She'll be in tomorrow for the regular meeting. It's on an agenda item for tomorrow. I don't see any motion items for tomorrow. Okay. Sheriff, let's see what this, he's coming on. There's Brad.
Good morning.
Morning, Brad.
Okay. Yeah, the agenda item we had for tomorrow is kind of two-part. The first part is the underlying agreement with the game and anglers and the county for continued operation of the range through 2026. Ours is just the sublease for the law enforcement side of it. So I know that some things are still in the works with, I think, the main agreement with the game and anglers. I'm not sure exactly what the status of that is, if that will be ready for tomorrow or not. Ours is just kind of secondary to that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think the way that was set up, this is how we do it. So I think we're good.
All right. Well, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Susan, looks like it's just briefly looking through this. It looks like it's you tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if we should add some lease agreements to the contract to go tomorrow.
So good morning, Susan Eugenius, County Engineer. Yes, I have most of them are small items on the agenda. We have a call for bids for the proposal for landfill gas services. This was the item we pulled last week when we were going through a final look at the paperwork. We found that there was a error that occurred during the last call. It was not advertised in the local paper of record, so that's against our purchasing policy. So that's why we pulled that contract last week and are going out again right now. So that is what the call for the bids is. It's the company that helps us with our SCADA and some of our monitoring that we report to the state. So we're going out for that proposal again. All right, then the next is a bid award for rental of equipment for the calendar year of 2026. We go out for this annually and we accept all responsible bidders. This is for rental of equipment that we need from time to time. Things like long reach excavators that we don't own ourselves, extra pumps in emergencies, roller. When we're doing chip seal, we bring in an extra roller. So we accept these bids and we have a set price for the year. So we're accepting all bidders. I believe we had 5 different bidders. So when we need equipment, we can just go, hey, we need this piece of equipment, and we have daily, weekly, and monthly rates available. Our next item is change orders number 1, 2, and 3 for the South Cloverdale Road intersection project. Sorry, mine are out of order in my pile. So change order number 1 was signed by myself, and that was at the beginning of the project. It was a revised traffic control plan that was proposed by the contractor. It removed a lot of the flagging hours and switched over to temporary traffic signals and what they call driveway assistance devices, also known as DADs. So this was basically a $540 credit to the contract for something we felt would make the overall work safer. So you didn't have to have a flagger at every driveway. You had these devices that were synced up to the signals and controlled by flaggers when they were needed to help people getting in and out of their driveways. So that was change order number one. Change order number two was one also signed by myself, which just adds days to the utility work window. So there was in this contract days when we were suspending work for the contractor so that the utilities can get in there and get out of the way. PUD, fiber companies, Kalama Telephone. On this particular project, we had work windows, and we found working with the utilities, they need it longer than what our initial window was. So we added additional days to the work window. So during that time, there is no working days charged to the contractor. So it's to their benefit to have these work windows. So the change order number three, which is the one we're requesting approval for, is a increase of $6,300 to pay for gravel backfill for walls. During the plan review, it was missed. You read the specifications, it says, we'll pay for the wall, we'll pay for gravel backfill for the wall. There was not a bid item for gravel backfill for the wall separately from the wall itself. So this is a correction to that. It would have been included in the bid if we had included it. So it's $6,300 to put the appropriate rock behind the wall. All right, bid item or item number 5 is the contract completion letter to DeWitt Construction for the Italian Creek Road Culvert Replacement Project. This was the culvert we replaced approximately milepost 1.9. So that is beyond Greenwood, if you're familiar with Italian Creek. We removed a damaged 36-inch diameter corrugated metal pipe, and our replacement was a 14-foot wide by a 5-foot high open bottom box. The total contract costs came in at $404,161.11, which is about $30,000 below the bid. So we didn't have any significant changes on this project, so we didn't use our miscellaneous construction item and had no big overruns. We had dollars in the contract for unsuitable excavation, and then a quantity for that backfill, which we use 0 on this location, which is why we've managed to come in under bid.
I've been up to that location. They did a really good job. That looks really, really good. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know how solid it is, but it looks great. Was that a fish passage that we did on that?
So it's aquatic organisms at that point, because it's not salmonoids up there. So it has to be big enough to pass any little creature that would live in there. So that's why it ended up being 14 feet opening, 5 feet height. We have very limited cover out there. So this is a similar box that we've put in other locations. Gives us kids a better place to play Army.
Yeah, I was gonna say, any little creature, Bigfoot come through it, huh?
Yeah, because I don't know if that's a year-round creek. I go up there quite often and I don't see water in there during the summer, later on in the summer. So just a question. When we put out a call for bids, do we have a place that we put that and people check, or do we send it to specific vendors?
So
Process for that.
we check it internally. So usually a project, when it's done in-house, so let's say Roger designs the project. So towards the end of, so we have checkpoints at 30%, 60%, and 95% design. 30%, we all go through it, make sure the concept looks good. Generally at 30%, it's just myself and the design engineer. The 60%, we bring in one of the other engineers to put eyes on it also. So we have two people who aren't working on it, look at it, and then 95%, the review is generally done by myself and the construction manager. And we go through, read all the specifications, and we just try and make sure we don't miss things because it does happen, because our spec books are 100, 200 pages, and then our drawings can be anywhere from 4 to 40 pages. And we sit down and have a meeting and go through it and try and catch everything. We do not do an external review. We do reviews of a person who doesn't work on it every day.
And so from that point, if there's a need for an RFP, we put one out. If we're outbidding the job from outside.
Yeah, we would put it out for.
Okay.
I cannot help you on the lease agreement. I know Mike was talking about it, and that I believe he does have the signed copy of the addendum to the lease agreement for the gun range.
Yeah.
I don't know all the specifics about that item. And then my big list for executed contracts and resolutions, 12A through X, are all easements that we have brought on Wednesdays that have been signed and recorded, and we're entering them into the record. The first two are for the Allender culvert replacement. That project is under design. Then from C to U are all temporary construction easements for the South Cloverdale, all of those renewals. V and W are the two easements for one permanent and one temporary for the Dyke Road project. And letter X is the temporary construction easement for the Tower Road Bridge project. Getting ourselves all caught up on all of our right-of-way easements.
Okay. I think we're good.
Thank you.
Tracy? Okay. Well, Kathy?
Good morning, Kathy Baxter, Finance Director. I have just one item, and that's the interlocal agreement with the City of Longview for district court services. And
Do
that's
we have
really-
anybody else? Is that?
Well, we still have Kelso
Still have
missing.
Kelso.
We still have Kelso, so I'm still working on getting that. And hopefully you'll see that next week. I know that they already approved it, but
They all approved the new negotiated?
yeah,
Okay, good.
I just need to get the signed copy for you, so. Okay.
I think that's pretty much it. Am I missing anything? No? Jessica? Okay. Yeah. Sure. I drove by, which one is it, west, is it? Looks like the waters are going down.
Oh,
off
yes,
of Pleasant Hill, yeah, anyways.
Yes, so let's give you a quick rundown on where we are on some of the roads that are closed. So we have Barnes, which I believe all of you have been out to look at. So our geotechnical engineer has been out there and we've received his recommendations. I know our construction manager is working with PUD and the telephone company to get the utilities out of our way so we can get out there. We've also been coordinating with FEMA for an appropriate contract that they would accept. And we've had a contractor out there looking at the site. So now that we have the geotech's recommendations, which include an overflow culvert, it's about a 20-foot drop out there is what they measured. They had their drone out. And we are going to go out, take any bad material out of the bottom is his recommendation, place approximately 5 feet of quarry spalls, and then a reinforcement geotextile on the top of that. Then the next, so that was 5, 20. So the next 18 feet would be structural fill, filling up, benching inappropriately into the good material, and then a good base rock up there. And then we'll have to leave it in base rock until such time as the asphalt plant reopens, but we can open it to limited local traffic once we get that base rock in there and then get it paved as soon as we can in March. But the intention is now the engineer that's in the office this week, he's working up that contract. I'm hoping to look at it today so we can get it to the contractor and hopefully have that before you guys next week. And then as soon as the utilities are out of the way, we will get out there and start filling that road back in. So that is the plan on Barnes. So I would anticipate an opening sometime early February, depending on how much they have to cut back, because that was the only speculation with the geotech, that they want to be on site to make sure we're tying into good material in the roadway embankment. So that is our plan moving forward on getting that open.
Let's talk a little bit about Tootle Park.
Yep, that is on my list.
Okay.
Tootle Park, Mike was going to bring you some pictures, but we have been rapidly losing Tootle Park Road.
I was out there Wednesday and I have the stuff in my office if they want to take a look at it, but we're losing that bank at an alarming rate.
Yes. And so we have one of the road supervisors, that's the road supervisor in that area, was meeting with Warehousers sometime this morning. I can't remember what time. They told me to walk their south property line that comes off of Burma to start getting permissions, because that was where we were planning on putting the roads. So we can start cutting road in there. We're hopeful that they'll give us the permissions, kind of like we have, we did out on Sweet Birch, where we get the right of entry, right of use, and then we negotiate the price as we move forward. I imagine we'll pay for it, obviously, but we'll also pay to relocate their fence. So we can get that out there and underway before the road goes, because the survey crew was out on Tuesday of last week, and no, they were out Thursday the week before last, and by Tuesday of next week, we had already lost another 10 or 15 feet.
I have a map in my office. You guys ought to take a look at that survey map that showed how much we lost in that one week.
Yes.
It's.
Yeah, Mike has it and was bringing all this stuff.
He's bringing.
Yeah.
Does our emergency declaration we made for the flood stuff, does it cover this, or do you
So-
think we need another one with?
I think we can use it because it's damage being caused by the high river levels caused by that event. So we'll be able to use that and be able to start rolling an emergency contract out for that one also. Just kind of roll into that. It's some of the surveyor did some research out there and found that there's a old draw in that location. that apparently is where a couple of these
They-
houses
they-
are built.
They just covered it all with spoils
Mhm.
and it's still a creek down under there.
And so we think that's part of what's accelerating this movement, that the water is coming from the north, coming down, trying to get in the Toutle River, and it hits the dredge spoils and has been over the years going through there. One of them was an old pond, apparently.
Yeah. You know, that's ironic because if you remember Flo would sit in here every once in a while and she goes, well, how you doing anything over there? It's all wet. And I'm going, it's not wet over there. But she's remembering back before. She's been around long enough, knew it was wet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're actively working on trying to get that rolling so that those 3 homes don't get stranded.
Yeah.
And
How long, if, say it went out today, how long would it take to get access to them again?
depends on how much we have to fill up that hole and if Weyerhaeuser's dragging their feet. But we could get out there. I mean, we have all the topo. We know where we want to go. And we have a rough layout. So it's, we've got about a 40% design out there. So it's a matter of do this and get out there and get it moving. 1 lane in and out with a couple pullouts, probably take us a week or 2. And then we'd have to keep working on it. We're going to have to put something in the low spot, some kind of crossing structure, but we can put something temporary in there while we're getting that material for them to be moving around, because we don't want to strand people. That's the goal, not to have people stranded.
Interesting.
So you'll be seeing that shortly coming forward too.
How many qualifying events did we have for emergency funding purposes this last storm in our county?
So we'll have all of the debris removal. We can get reimbursed from FEMA, and that includes setting up and taking down the bypass road. Barnes Drive will qualify. Then we have 2 other locations, which are slides. One's down in South County at Nevela. That has dropped a significant, but that was a pre-existing slide, so they do not pay for the repairs for pre-existing slides. The other one is this slide up on Holcomb. Holcomb is also closed. So we closed that about a week ago because of a slide. The crack, you could put my hand down into the crack on the road, and the advice of the geotech engineer was to close the roadway, let it sit until this weather kind of calm down. And then if it's stopped moving, we can do a much more temporary fix. But if it's still moving, come the 1st or 2nd week of January, we're going to have to do a more permanent fix. So that's why we closed it to traffic, since there's 2 ways in and out. But it's quite a significant long run that the crack runs shoulder, bows out to the road and then back out to the shoulder. The asphalt on the downhill side is undermined, so it's quite substantial. But this has slid in the past. One of the engineers pulled out the old report, and it's a large landslide. So we're going to have to look at, how do we put these, slow them down methods so that it's something where we can get it to a creep. A lot of those are dewatering. There's also a newer method they call a deep patch, which we actually haven't done, but this might be a location where we would do our first deep patch repair. So geotech will be back out in the beginning of January. We've asked the geotech, or I had the engineer calling the geotech to come out and look at Toutle Park Road today or tomorrow to see if they think we need to close it down now, or how long he thinks we have. Do we have 2 days or do we have 2 weeks?
So speaking of timelines, is there a specific timeline from the occurrence of the event to when we submit for reimbursement on these things?
So what is happening right now, I have the emails from DEM and FEMA saying, here's the event start, here's the event estimated end. Please start getting your preliminary damage reports and assessments. And I believe the due date for your preliminary damage assessments is January 23rd. I could be wrong, but it's right around then that they're due. So we have a meeting next Monday, internal meeting, assigning who's getting which project together. So accounting generally will pull timesheets for the debris removal so that we submit then, and then we'll split the projects amongst the engineers. We will apply for Holcomb and some of the other ones we don't think we'll get reimbursed for, because as the worst thing that happens is they say no. And once you submit those, we're working with FEMA, so it takes a while to get the money back because they send out groups, they go and check your work, then you go through this portal, which is new, and it changes every time there's a disaster. So we're starting to work on getting all of this information together and our cost. It depends on how large the project is. If you get paid based on your engineer's estimate, or if you get paid on what you actually spend. The threshold used to be like $250,000. Now it's more like $1 million. So if you have a bunch of small projects and they just give you the money because it's easier for them and it sits in your account until you spend it out. If it's a bigger project, it's a reimbursement process. So a couple of like the Italian Creek project that we're just closing out, that's an old FEMA project. It was big enough at the time that it was not considered a small project, so we're getting reimbursed for that one. But under today's system, it would be considered a small project. So our engineer's estimate at the time of the disaster is what they pay us. At the end of all of your projects, so let's say we had 6 small projects and the total of the 6 small projects was going to be $2 million. If you come in at 1.75, it's great, you got 250 extra. If you come in over, but it has to be the total of the projects. So if one came in under, one came in over, as long as you were below that 2 million, you don't get extra money. But if you go over the 2 million, you can request the additional dollars. If it's a certain percentage, which I don't remember what that is.
So do we have to bundle that into the state's declaration of emergency, or do we just do that directly with FEMA ourselves?
So we send it to FEMA. It's a whole process. It is a statewide, but we end up dealing with FEMA individually because our emergency goes to the state. Then when the state is declared, if the federal declares it, then we can deal with FEMA. We've also sent in, fortunately or unfortunately, during this event, we came out a lot better than other places, but we do not have any. So Public Works doesn't just deal with FEMA during an event. So if we had lost, say, a portion of Old Highway 99, because that's arterial, the temporary fix is paid by FEMA, but the permanent fix is paid by FHWA. So then we do the process through WashDOT. We've already had that reach out initial response with WashDOT, and we did not have any arterial or major collectors. Barnes is a minor collector, so it's a FEMA process, not a FHWA process.
You know, another section, and it's not ours, it's WashDOT, thank goodness. But that rough section when you get headed north past Lexington, coming through there, it's starting to crack.
Is it?
You're starting to see some stuff there, so I know that's WashDOT, but if it goes away, it doesn't impact us as people running around, but.
Yes.
Okay. I see you're here now. We've been waiting, tapping our fingers. Sorry. I'm teasing you. Are these the same things you showed me on Wednesday? Okay, you can, I have.
So these are just the visuals that goes along with the Tootle Park that we had talked about. So this picture is on the 18th, the large picture, and Mike said since then, the little twiggy tree that you see is gone.
That little tree's gone now.
Correct. Yeah. Mike Moss, Public Services Director. Apologize for being late.
We're just
That
trying to
the
get you
map
to-
on, or the picture on top that's dated December 18th, the river has eroded the bank in certain areas up to 15 feet since that point. Actually, the map you have, it's really hard to read, so I do have a larger scale version if you guys want to see it after the fact. It shows a couple different markings on that map. The red, it's kind of hard to see on yours, but there's one spot that says like 14.8, 7.2. Those are distances we lost in 5 days on that river.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
How much further out did those big boulders sit?
They're 10 feet from the road, and now they're probably probably 10 feet from the edge.
Now, and this place that we see in the picture, that's not the home where this property belongs to the guy we can't see his place.
Correct. Yes.
This over here, is it taking this bank, or if what I remember right, this bank had some pretty, like a rock base, so is it holding
That's
fairly well?
correct. That's what's causing our swirling effect there. It's a rock base. If you're looking directly, other commissioners, this spot here, that's all rock. So the water's hitting this and doing a swirling effect and is eroding this bank away towards
But
the
we're
county
not
road.
seeing this bank's holding.
Yes.
It's just this side over here.
Yeah,
okay.
the right-hand side's the one's disappearing. So, met with a couple property owners last week. Castle Rock supervisor is meeting with Weyerhaeuser this morning, another property owner looking for access. We're trying to make a phone call before I came here today to see if we could set up a walk with them on their property line later today or tomorrow morning to see if we get access.
So that point it's rock.
Correct.
Do we know if there's rock going this way toward the road?
I do not know where the rock ends out there. If looking at old aerial photographs from pre-eruption, that point has always been there. And it is unclear how far it goes back. But did you hand them this
Yeah.
one also? So if you look at this photograph, you see how it's darker right into here. That was a pond, standing water, and that now has 3 houses on it, stacked up
Yeah.
on those property lines. And those are the parcels that are most likely going to lose their access. The next one to the west should be still accessible. But these 3 right here are probably going to be inaccessible. And then to the left of those is where the gun range sits. To the left, to the right, to the east.
If you look at that same map that Susan had up from 1960, you can see where the river's at. You can look to the north there and you can see an old cut line right below the road. And that's exactly where this is at. So this roundabout is right here on the map from 1960. So the river's kind of like going back to its original spot
Yeah.
years ago. It just happens to be the road's close by and houses right above it now.
So is the plan to bypass this way?
Could be, it might just be a short-term fix, so we're looking at doing a more long-term fix, maybe towards Camp Arnold off the end of Burma, which is not, we can show you on a map as the very top end of this map coming across up at this section.
Oh, yeah.
That way we're completely away from the river, and then we give access to those 3 homes back down past the gun range and stay away from that side of it. We'll probably be asking about LT1 more about all the motorcycles and ATVs that go out there. If we have limited access, we might have to maybe shut that down temporarily just to get it open to homeowners and possibly the gun range. But the extra traffic going out there on a gravel road, if we're getting temporary access through somebody's property, we might have to slow down the traffic by not allowing the LT1 to be open at this point. We hate to do that because it's a great place for people to ride. We'll get a few complaints from that, but maybe having less traffic out there for short term might be the best thing for us to get a permanent solution in place.
Till we get a permanent solution there.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna control it if you tell them you can't use it?
We do have a gate on the LT1 side, so we can close that up and then sign it. And also have, ask the sheriff's office to patrol it once in a while. With the gun range open 7 days a week, or 6 days a week, I apologize. They'd probably tell us also if there's people out there. So I hope to know more in the next day or two with our visits with our property owners about a different access point to those homes and the gun range.
If they, and I don't like to use I guess I could call it the nuclear option, but if they say no and this goes away, then we do have the authority under emergency to put something through.
Yes, because we have the right of eminent domain for public health and
Yeah.
safety.
So Mike, are you saying that on this particular map here, that dark line, are those spoils that we filled in? From that dark line to the river?
Above the road or below the road? I apologize. Below? No, below the road, the river just slowly started going back to the north again to that area.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
This right here,
Yes.
we filled that in with spoils right there?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
correct. Yes, yeah. Yeah. The Army Corps
Army
filled that
back
with
in the
spoils.
day.
Yes, exactly
Yeah.
right. And that's what's deteriorating. Yep. So look at these old maps. It doesn't shock us. It's going away.
It's basically trying to go back to what it was.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
I don't know why man thinks they can control Mother Nature.
Not nice to fool with Mother Nature.
Well, it just makes me question the Army Corps' long-term thinking with stuff that they're doing. And the
Yeah,
impact it's having on us where we are now. And we're spending the money that we're spending doing what they're doing. You really got to question what we're doing here.
What convinced you they have long-term thinking?
You're right.
Yeah,
That was an assumption on my part. I apologize.
to their defense, just a hair, they probably didn't understand what those spoils are. Of course, you would think if you're putting it over an already existing like creek or water area, that no matter what you put over there, it's not gonna solve the problem, but they probably didn't understand the spoils
Yeah, there was.
do not hold.
Seepage, you may have already talked about before I got in here, but from those ponds, there, of course, there was a creek probably feeding those ponds going down to the Tootle in that 1960 map. This last couple summers, you could see some seepage coming out below down here, knowing that it was probably getting fed from
That.
and from that just got covered up. So it probably adds to the chance of that deteriorating fairly quickly into the Tootle.
Interesting.
So we'll update you as we go along and tell you how our visits do with the property owners, adjoining property owners, to tell you if we got access this week to start moving forward with probably an emergency contract.
Mhm.
I think any kid that's ever been playing at the beach is smart enough to know that when water hits your sandcastle, it's gone.
Are these three the home locations?
Yes, those are where the current homes are located.
Okay, well, can't say it was a surprise. We've been talking about it for a couple of years and we finally had a water event that started taking it away. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Jessica Warren, Human Resources. We have a request for an executive session, performance of a public employee. 5.
Okay.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Executive session, performance of a public employee, 10 minutes. Okay, back from executive session, no decisions rendered. Jessica.
Okay, I have a request from Public Works. They're requesting to fill the public land surveyor position at salary grade 560. They have an internal applicant that now qualifies for this position, and they're planning on leaving the current applicant's position unfilled if he were to move into this position.
Just looking for approval from the three of us.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Good to go.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any planning, this, you want us to go over this? Planning Commission? Is this the only one you have coming up?
That's the only opening we have, yes.
Mark's been on there a long time.
20+ years,
You know, I knew his dad.
really.
Well, his dad, Dave, ran Weyerhaeuser Pulp Credit Union, now known as Smith Valley
Oh, okay.
Credit Union. So being in that business, yeah, I knew his dad.
What's his commitment level?
He's ready.
Yeah.
It's monthly.
Yeah.
I would encourage the board to I would say rehire, but thank you, reappoint him. We have the comp plan that we're kind of in the heart of. It's going to planning commission in the next few months. We've got a lot of big ticket items. The board gave us the okay to get the consultant for the critical areas ordinance update. And with his knowledge around here, it would be nice to have that expertise. He is the chairman right now. Some of the other planning commission members are newer and they look to him. So it would be nice to have that reappointment. I will follow the board's direction.
He's a doer for sure.
He is very much a doer and I respect that wholeheartedly. So, yep.
The only issue I ever run into with him
Mhm.
at times is he likes to put more restrictions than I like. He will do that and I battle with that once in a while. But he's knowledgeable and knows
He knows the
He
land,
knows
he
the-
knows the area. He's a value to us.
okay. I'm not seeing any objections.
And we weren't on the agenda for you guys have a call for hearing. We have a call for hearing just to set the hearing for January 13th. It's a short plat that came back in before the 5 years was up. So now they're doing a subdivision. It's adding one additional lot like we did last month as well. It's just Chilton's the developer. They had one additional lot. And so they went through a subdivision process. Planning Commission unanimously approved it. So we're just setting the hearing to get it in front of the board. It'll be another closed record hearing. So that was it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. So you wanted us to look over what we have, this one here. The calendar's on for tomorrow. Should I tell them tomorrow it's set in stone? Is this something we have to do once a year for the public? Okay, so we're fulfilling our commitment. And I think you wanted us to kind of look at the committees we were represented on and see if anybody wanted any changes. I think on mine, the canvassing board I have to sit on is chair. I think there's another one, the treasurer, finance committee I have to sit on too.
I'm just to the point where I'm understanding my committees and actually making a contribution in them. I would hate to make any changes at this point, but if
So
we see that we need to.
it sounds like we all are we all kind of good just keeping what we have?
Yeah.
I mean, if something in the middle of the year, you want to try something else, there's nothing that says we can't swap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I'm frustrated, I can just back up the way you guys.
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Just say, hey, can you? I think Commissioner Rader, I think that's a good point. You kind of get familiar with what they're operating and where they're trying to go. And it's tough sometimes if you throw a new set of eyes in there. Okay. So I think we're good with that, right? All right. What else did you want? I know you wanted to talk about liaisons, but I think weren't you going to try and do a little research in how they come up with that in the first place? So why don't we do that so we kind of understand where they got those? Okay.
Yeah, and my own recommendation on that, as I thought about it, is any of the departments or electeds that I have relative to the boards that I sit on, I think it would be good to have them as a liaison, because we're gonna be on the same page and being able to communicate what's going on there. Other than that, I don't really have a preference.
Okay. I think that all kind of, now I'm making assumptions here, but I think it all kind of generated when they went away from an executive director or county administrator, whatever they called him. And they divided that up different, but I think some clarification on that is worthwhile. Okay. Am I missing anything? Anything else? Well, good. Okay. With that, then we will adjourn. Thank you.